Welcome to YellBro Road. I'm Jordan, and today we're going to listen to an interview with Shawn Ryan. He interviews one of Charlie Kirk's security guards, and I've not watched any of this, so it's going to be a mystery. I heard it was interesting. I'm going to check it out. And there's a longer form version of this, by the way. I will link that in the description box. His YouTube channel. There's like a 2.5, 2 hours, 45-minute thing. Uh, I don't feel like doing that, so I'm gonna watch these clips, like talking about specific topics. So, but I will link the entire thing in the description box for you to watch on your own. Uh, Also in the description box will be donation links to a charity of your choice. Please go ahead, donate to them. All of it is very much appreciated. Also, please check out the Discord link if you want to join that. We are in that Discord right now, talking shit. All opinions are welcome, so please join up if you feel like. All opinions welcome. Just nothing pornographic or grotesque. Shout to Edley. Don't play any porn here, okay? Because it fucks the whole server. So please don't do that. But other than that, enjoy yourselves. All right. And obviously, everything I show you in this video will be linked in the description box for you to look at on your own, along with the full version of this. But let's start somewhere else first. Let's start over here with Pam Bondi in regards to the whole Epstein file thing. Here we go. Hopefully the volume's good.
Madam Attorney General, do you mean that you will provide all the files
Yeah, turn that up.
by 30 days?
We will follow.
Yes, will you provide all the files within the 30 days or some shit like that?
You will provide all the files by 30 days?
By 30
We
days.
will follow the law. The law passed both chambers last evening. It has not yet been signed, but we will continue to follow the law again while protecting victims, but also providing maximum transparency.
That's what you originally said, Pam. Sorry, not just because, let's be real, there's going to be a lot of scapegoating with Pam and the two gentlemen behind her. There's going to be a lot of scapegoating. It's not all Pam's fault. She's just a part of the cover up. She's not she isn't the, sole perpetrator. This goes to the highest levels of power, quote unquote power, in regards to government and business, actually, within corporations and these bigwigs that have interacted with Epstein in academics. There's some bigwigs. We saw Noam Chomsky being brought up. Yeah, so she's not the only one to blame, but at the same time, you guys already tried this, didn't you? This is a statement that was basically said in like fucking May or something, right? Like, oh, we'll do everything to release everything we have, but we got to redact some names to protect the victims. Meanwhile, victims are standing behind, Thomas Massey, Ro Khanna, Marjorie Taylor Greene, showing their faces, saying their names, actually saying who they voted for. Believe it or not, they come with written statements. So if it's them, they're like, yeah, show my name. Apparently. So you can't pull the protect victims thing. If someone's not around or they passed away or they don't want anything to do with this, fine. Block their names out. But once again, I swear I saw like 30 alleged victims of Jeffrey Epstein, outside at podiums. So I think you're okay with their names being out. And I think they're okay with it too. But let's continue. Non-answer here, but let's continue.
Attorney General, the DOJ statement earlier this year saying that the files
I think
was
this is
not
Deputy
released
AG right here.
mentioned the
I
fact
think.
that
I could be
the
wrong.
review of the documents and the
Blanche?
evidence did
Is that
not
Todd Blanche?
suggest that any additional investigation of third parties was warranted. What changed since then that you launched this investigation?
Information that has come for information. There's information new information, additional information, and again, we will continue to follow the law, to investigate any leads. If there are any victims, we encourage all victims to come forward, and we will continue to provide maximum transparency under the law.
Okay. So right there, she brought up the idea of additional information. So it's like, so you guys said the Trump administration, they have botched this to, crazy levels here. How is there new information? Were you guys investigating for new information? Is that what happened? if you did find new information, you didn't tell us till this day today. And also, like, people are actually asking this question out there, and it makes a lot of sense, which is, if you start bringing in new information, meaning looking into more, like investigating the case more, wouldn't that shut down the release of the other things because it would hinder any type of criminal charges that could be brought up about anyone that could be attached to this Epstein thing? Are you using this as an excuse to kind of shut down the thing, shut down the release of the files by saying, "Hey, we got some new leads. We're going to look into it," which is why we can't release this other stuff to you because it'll hinder that investigation. Like, I'm curious. I wonder if they do that. If that's the case, I mean, no wonder Trump or Republicans would all of a sudden be like, "Yeah, let's release the files. Let's do that," knowing that it's not going to actually be released. Not saying that's the case. I'm saying it's an idea that's floating around, and I think that's worthy of looking into. But also, you guys said you released everything you had. Nothing interesting is there, as Cash Patel said on social media, on Joe Rogan podcast, on podiums. You too. You said, "Oh, there's nothing here. Let's move on. There's nothing here. We gave you all the information we have. We're done." And now all of a sudden, there's new information. And I'm not gonna say I feel bad, but let's be real. She's being put forth front and center along with Cash Patel, and these guys are gonna eat all the blame. Even Dan Bongino's like playing it safe. Like, yeah, it's Patel's the reason why things are fucked up. Like he gets like Bongino gets to play good cop essentially, right? And Cash Patel has to be the fuck face in front of everyone, where everyone's investigating his shit and flights for his girlfriend and whatever, right? Using an FBI jet to go to UFC events and shit like that, like, bruh. But all right, maybe something will come of this. It just screams like a lot of more bullshitting us. And once again, it's not solely these people's fault. I'm telling you, these orders come from higher up. All right? Like, I don't think Pam Bondi's in the Epstein files to protect herself. I don't think Cash Patel's in the fucking Epstein files. You know? So it's for someone else. It's not for them. Just keep that in mind. But let's continue with more stuff here. Now, this was interesting. And I cannot confirm this. Once again, we're kind of zoomed out. It's hard to see. But allegedly, this is Larry Summers. And he makes this statement to his classroom. The volume's pretty bad. I'm trying to turn it up a little bit more. Full blast. Here we go. Watch your ears.
Some of you will have seen my statement of regret, expressing my shame with respect to what I did in communication with Mr. Epstein, and that I've said that I'm going to step back from public activities, but for a time, but I think it's very important to fulfill my teaching obligations. And so, with your permission, we're going to go forward and talk about the material in the class. Some of you will have seen my statement of...
Okay. So, if that is Larry Summers, that is not an admission of guilt, but, I mean, to be fair, it's an elephant in the room, right? The kids know about it. Like, people know about it, right? And I wouldn't be surprised if someone would have just asked him about it, if he didn't say anything. What's up?
Can you play the beginning again for me?
Yeah. Full screen it.
Some of you will have seen my statement of regret, expressing my shame with respect to what I did in communication with Mr. Epstein, and that I've said that I'm going to step back from public activities, but for a time, but I think it's very important to fulfill my teaching obligations. And so, with your permission, we're going to go forward and talk about the material in the class. Some of you will have...
So, yeah.
With your permission?
Well, I assume he realizes that the things that might get released, it's going to be quite embarrassing to him, at the very least.
But why do you say, like, with your permission, we'll proceed? Like, what if someone in the class is like, "Yo, fuck out of here, you fucking..."
Well, what he's doing is he's basically getting as low to the ground as possible to assume the position of not being dominant at all and say, "You guys are the leader. You guys are the ones.
Right.
With your permission, because I did something
Right.
naughty." He's
Yeah.
playing to
No
the
one's gonna say shit.
yeah. He's kind of trying to like
I
get
see what
ahead
you're
of the
doing.
story, because let's be honest, if things come out, if Trump really does target Summers, Clinton, Reid Hoffman, these people, a guy who's a professor with young people, right? There's a lot of young people at Harvard that are in his classes, and young people are all into this topic, right? They're gonna know
Oh
about
yeah.
Epstein stuff for sure.
Oh yeah, dude.
So him pretending like it's not there is just gonna be more harmful than helpful. Honestly, he has to say something.
But you got to be like the lack of self-awareness to even like to say that in general. Like, bro, like
I mean, maybe there's something sus in there, like really like sus about him within these files or whatever, where he's just getting out
well,
ahead of it. Who knows?
I'm saying yeah, but like if he's the fact that he thinks he can do damage control like that. I mean, who knows what's really in there? It's just kind of like it's like, hey guys, by the way, I was connected to this like global like pedo ring, but yeah, like we gotta discuss you know 1950s
18th century
politics.
history or something like.
Yeah. So about the civil rights movement and MLK, like, like the fuck?
Fuck. No, I hear what you're saying. I definitely hear that, but maybe he's hoping that the students will think like, okay, maybe calling it a global pedophile ring is too much of a stretch. Maybe he's just like was friends with the guy, but the guy did some weird shit on his
Right.
own, and thus he's not that guilty, right? Just embarrassing or looks bad or whatever. But who knows? It could
Sure.
be plenty worse than we're even thinking. But personally, I just doubt that the Trump administration would even, even if it's Larry Summers or Bill Clinton, I don't expect them to actually like showcase anything. I really
To
don't.
throw anyone under the bus, because that
Yeah.
would entail like, okay, you're gloves off with me, now it's gonna be gloves off with you, and they have shit on Trump. So
Imagine they prosecute Bill Clinton for being involved with sex trafficking or being involved with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, that dude has
yeah,
probably a fucking library of shit on people. Like, yeah, well, Bob
yeah,
did this over there, Jane did that over there. Like he would be like he is his own dead man switch essentially. Like if he
shit.
gets busted, like he has all the fucking he probably has so much information on people, so
Yep.
much. Uh,
At his thumbs, just like at the widths of his disposal, like he can
yeah,
do what the fuck he wants with it. And that's his leverage. So what the
yeah.
fuck would they release on these guys? Like, come on. Trump wouldn't tell the House Republicans to vote on it if he like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Oh,
I
show,
mean,
dude.
I heard the idea that they were blocking out names as the reason why they were stalling so much. They needed time to redact some influential figures' names out of these things. Then the other idea I'm hearing is the thing I just played with Pam Bondi, where there's new information that we have to investigate, which would mean it would make it almost like an open case in a way, right? So thus we can't
Right.
release anything because we're doing a whole investigation about it, so we can't show you anything, right? That's another idea I've heard, but I can't say it now, but like I think they're gonna find some way to kind of protect everyone that was possibly involved in any of this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I don't even have to, me personally, I don't have to run with the idea of trafficking so much, right? It could be as simple as, hey, I got these girls here. You want to come over? Yeah, bro, I'll come over. And they do their weird sex shit, right? Where it's not really, it's not the same. I guess that'd be kind of technically trafficking, I guess. But,
Yeah.
but like, I'm looking at it like, okay, what is that actually? That's more of these guys abusing these girls for their own purposes versus I'm selling girls to Russia, to fucking China, to
So
this country, that country, this corporation, whatever the fuck, right?
yeah, trafficking doesn't necessarily mean like actually, sending somewhere. And it's the like usage of someone as a commodity.
Yeah, yeah. But if I had to guess, in most people's minds, when they hear trafficking, they're thinking Okay, he's moving like girls 10 at a time to this place or that place. You know, video recording and getting fucking political leverage on someone, right? Is another idea with Epstein.
Yeah.
But yeah, I will say, we will say. All right, let's move on. Here we have Sippy Cup Nick, kind of offering an olive branch to to lefty progressives. And I got to turn this volume down. I have it at full blast. There we go. Let's hear what Nicky Boy has to say, and let's hear if the fans, because the fans apparently just move with him. Yeah, he almost has like Trump clout, like 2016 Trump clout, where no matter what he does, it's good, no matter what. Until he betrays him too much. Not saying, I mean, I don't know if Nick's gonna do that, but when Trump betrayed him a little bit too much, that's when the pushback actually started happening. But before that, he was bulletproof, bro, straight up, and that's where Nicky Boy is right now. And I'm just saying, ideologically, I wonder if his fans abandon him, or is he just kind of itching, moving his own personal Overton window for his audience to like, hey, maybe we can buy into some of these more moderate ideas, if you will. But here we go. Let's hear it out. Here's Nick Fuentes.
If you had progressive Democrats and nationalist Republicans working together, let's say to compel the release of the Epstein files, what kind of approval rating do you think that has? 90%? And what if they got together and they opposed foreign aid to Israel? What approval rating do you think that would have? 90%? What if they got together and worked on the basis of a common interest? Do you think that that Republicans or independents running under that brand, do you think that that would become more popular or less popular over time?
Now, Nick, when it comes to progressive left, right? I mean, what I see from those guys is that, yeah, the Israel giving money to Israel, they don't like that, right? They also don't like the war crimes happening, and I believe Nick has expressed that as well. But they also don't like the war crimes that the U.S. does in other places around the world, which is something you said you're okay with. That is a harsh line for a lot of what you would call progressives. Many of them would view you as a neo-Nazi, to be honest with you, Nick Fuentes. And you're like, your best chance is like Jimmy Dore, but Jimmy Dore has already like kind of nudged out those traditional progressive lefties and brought in more of the MAGA crowd. So thus you're kind of preaching to the choir. You're not crossing lines too harshly, right? With Jimmy Dore, and then Jimmy Dore's attached to like RBN, right? Revolutionary Black Network, whatever the fuck they're called. Fred Hampton. Formerly Fred Hampton leftists, Savvy Sabs and Nick Cruz and these guys, or Nico House and these people, right? There's no way they're going to ignore some of the things you've said about race, that you think America should be majority white. Like, no one can roll with that, Nick. It is what it is. Now, you guys could do something on the internet and win something there. I think your best shot, and this is me going with the idea that Nick is being authentic and legit, like he's not being full of shit about this. If I take him at face value here in regards to this idea, your best chance is kind of what you said, which is things we're against, right? Some guy comes in like, okay, we need to invade Russia. And both of you guys would say, no, we're not doing that. It's stupid. We're not invading Russia. Fuck that. Which is not a solution. It's just saying what we don't want, right? It works in that arena. But then when you start going to what you do want, you guys are as separate could be. On the surface, I'm saying. And actually, some of your things that you're for, Nick, would actually be considered detestable by them. They'd be like, oh, that's corruption. They would call that corruption. Some of the things that you're in favor of, Nick, they would say that's corruption. It wouldn't be just a difference of a difference of opinion. It'd be like, you guys are full of shit corrupt. Because you're saying we should fucking control South America, control other people. It's okay to be, imperialistic. That's fine. No big deal. It's okay to round up brown people in America. Like, it's just not, these are not feasible. But for now, it'll win him some audience members for sure, at best. But over time, when people start hearing your actual ideas, unless you change them, which means you're going to have to abandon your own audience, right? Unless he changes them, he's sorry, it's not going anywhere. Yeah, right now you're being attacked by Ben Shapiro's and Mark Levin's, right? But like, everyone already views those guys as assholes and idiots. What happens when someone that people consider legit goes at you, right? There's only so many times you can scream, Sidney Blumenthal, when it comes to Max Blumenthal. Because if that guy goes at you, it's way different than Ben Shapiro, my man. That's not even me like trying to like dick riding Max Blumenthal. It's just he's a little bit sharper when it comes to argumentation, and his ideas don't sound like full-on neocon policies. He's gonna make you look like a neocon if that happened. I'm just saying, like if you guys debated, he'd end up making you look like a neocon in front of your own audience. And he's gonna do research on you and all that shit. And it's like it's not gonna be nice. I'm just saying. And I think Max would be considered one of these progressive lefties. And if Jimmy Dore, once again, the guy that would give you the most favor, most likely, right, would be Jimmy Dore. Even he would pick, he's going to pick Max over you. I'm just saying. But let's continue. Maybe he has a better argument following this, at this point. Maybe he has something better to say. Here we go.
4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16. It snowballs. And we need to propel someone into the White House that is just a populist. And here's where we're going to have to give. This is going to be the compromise. Very simple. The left has to give up immigration. That's simple. The left is going to have to give up. Look, we can have equity and we can have equality in the country. We can have civil rights. We can have all those things. But we have to close the damn borders. We have to close it. Too many illegal immigrants. Too many legal immigrants. That has to be the compromise. The left has to give on immigration, and the right has to give on the free market.
So let me stop in there. Okay, the left has to give up on immigration. Although, I think most of them, well, I think most of them would lean towards at least the words of a Bernie Sanders type, who is not for open borders. And their solution to illegal immigration would be like put like minimum wages at such a height that there's no reason like if you have to pay these illegal immigrants a minimum amount of money for their job, for their labor, there's no point in hiring illegal immigrants. Thus, you just give the jobs to Americans who would take the job. Right? You're not saving money by just picking some guy that's gonna work for way less money. That's kind of their logic. That I've seen at least. And yeah, it's kind of a bullshit word saying open borders as far as like what these lefty progressives believe. I don't think that's the case. I don't think it is like, hey guys, come on in. Come on in. I don't think so. I think they view it just maybe similar to the way you see it, maybe less so about culture, more so about like, hey, they're taking advantage of these guys and giving them shit wages to do menial jobs, right? Because we want to save, the corporations want to save on labor costs. Pretty simple, right? So good luck arguing that one as well, Nick. It's almost like he doesn't know their ideas. That's the way it sounds right now. Once again, I'm going by like the kind of the Bernie AOC style, at least in words, right? Style policy. Like no, like Bernie will be like, "Oh, no, it's for open borders. What are you talking about?" Right? It's kind of like a tagline that Republicans use to kind of make them look bad, right? So yeah, I don't understand. Okay, and then you have, I guess he's gonna say righties have to deal with. All right, we'll get rid of the free market ideas. And what does that mean? Like social programs? I mean universal health care or something? Like what's he going with? Let's find out. Here we go.
too many legal immigrants. That has to be the compromise. The left has to give on immigration, and the right has to give on the free market. If the right can come down on health care and on a social safety net and maybe on some subsidies for education, and if the left can come down on the anti-white open border stuff and they can agree that we have a country.
Anti-white open border stuff. So it's not even about economics for him, I guess. I guess it is about culturally, even though he's part Mexican. I can't get over it. I'm sorry for laughing, but it's like, aren't you part Mexican? They're trying to tear down the white race. It's like, but now you're like one of the leaders. Are you tearing down the white race? I'm mostly white, though. Oh, fuck. You know, Barack Obama's half white. You're going to count him, too? Is he white, too? According to Nick Fuentes, is Barack Obama also white? But, all right. Okay. Guys, I guess the white population is going down or something like that. According to Nick Fuentes. So, but that's okay. Sorry to go over this again, but like, what wouldn't that be like? Okay, Barack Obama, right? He's half white, but you can't call him white because he's a little bit darker or something. Does he mean culturally? Does he mean racially? Like, if a Mexican comes here and has kids with a white person, they're not white at all anymore? Is that where he's going? Is that his logic? It's tainted. Well, the genes are tainted. Is that where he's going? Like, I need to understand the logic of that. See, the way he's making it sounds like it's like, sorry, Nick fans, but it sounds like he's gonna like start moving towards cleaning up his past ideas and views. It sounds like he's gonna start cleaning that up and moving in a direction that you might not like, or you may not expect. But, all right, let's protect. Does he mean white people or white culture, or does he mean both? Does he mean both? There's plenty of Steph Currys running around here, plenty of light skins running around here, right? That are that are part white. Why are we? It's like, why are we ignoring that? They're part of your team that you're saying, man. So I have to say, maybe it's not racially, maybe it's just culturally. And I'm like, okay, what is white culture? What does that mean? Because we can have Cowboys in Texas and the Ramones in fucking Queens. Like, what do you mean by, or whoever, right? I don't know. You have punk rockers in New York City and you have fucking ranchers in Wyoming. Both quote unquote white, but like, do you mean culturally, Nick? Is that where you're going? All right, let's just hit play here. Here we go.
And on a social safety net and maybe on some subsidies for education. And if the left can come down on the anti-white open border stuff and they can agree that we have a country, that party will win 90% of the vote and rule for a century. That's the compromise. That's the populist compromise.
No, it's not.
Why is it?
Never mind.
That for the left, it's like they don't even care about anything else. It just has to be open borders. And on the right, it's like they don't care about anything else as long as it's foreign aid to Israel and war in the Middle East and war with Russia.
Once again, I don't know. Like, who's he calling lefty progressives? Who's he calling that? Is he saying AOC? Which is essentially like Bernie Sanders? They don't scream for open borders. Now, their policy might lean that direction, but the words they say out loud are not supposed to be in regards to open borders at all. So, I guess he's like, screw the Trump administration, their neocon policies. At the same time, you're adopting their propaganda against the other team. Like, come on. And if you go establishment, right, was Barack Obama open borders? No, not even. Trump still hasn't caught up. It still has not caught up to Barack Obama as far as his record-breaking, what was like 4 million in 1 year deportations. Come on, son. There we go. He's kind of a dummy.
That's the kind of program that we need. And that's what they're terrified of. They're terrified that the left and the right are going to come together on the basis of stop supporting Israel, on the basis of close the borders, on the basis of restricting money in politics and the influence of the oligarchs. That's what they're terrified of. So this is the blueprint. We have to build on this.
Now, it's just, man, is this guy kind of dumb? He's kind of dumb, isn't he? I understand the idea, like, he talks kind of cleanly, but, like, the things that fly out of his mouth are kind of dumb. And honestly, in my opinion, what these corrupt people are worried about are righteous people with integrity that can't be moved. That's what they're actually worried about. Now, is Sippy Cup Nick going to actually look for these things in this hypothetical new party or new style of politics? Is he going to be looking out for people that are full of shit, that lie, that will bullshit, will lie for the sake of strategy? Is he going to look for stuff like that? If not, they're doomed to repeat the same thing over and over and over again. Unfortunate. But don't worry, Christ is king. All right, let's get to the main videos here of Shawn Ryan interviewing. Now, what's this feller's name? Fuck, did he say his name anywhere in there? Fuck. Whatever the guy's name. All right, I'll look it up. Fuck it. Brian Harple. The head of Charlie Kirk Security. So we're gonna give this a shot. I believe I have 2 clips here that may be something very similar to each other, but either way, we'll find out when we listen to it. And the reason for that is because I try to, like, actually react to things. I try not to watch it before I get here. I kind of want to, like, freestyle. You know, I kind of would just, like, hear things and be like, okay, these are my initial thoughts straight up. If I'm wrong about something, I don't mind correcting myself about it. Like, that's fine. It just feels more real and organic. On this clip, I skipped 36 seconds ahead because before that, it just has like a coming up, right? A little highlight reel of what you're gonna see in the rest of the clip. So that's why it's 36 seconds in. Let's play this. Here is Shawn Ryan with the head of Charlie Kirk Security on the infamous day. Here we go.
Some correspondence with the chief of the school on that day, on Monday before Charlie was killed. And
starting light.
Why this hadn't come out and why he won't stand up like a man and admit this, I don't know. But he's watching a bunch of men lose their careers, and he's okay with it. On Monday before, this correspondence went to Chief Long. Hello, Chief Long. We received this message today from the student group. There is a student roof access pretty close to where CK will be set up at the Utah Valley. The Sorensen Center has a couple of staircases that go up to walkways on the roofs. He comes back, and for edification, the Sorensen Center was the building in front of the Lucy Center. And so he comes back and he says, you want access to the roof. And came back and said, I was told students have access above us. If this is true, it would be nice to either have it controlled access or allow one of my guys to be there as well, if possible. He comes back, and his last correspondence was, I got you covered.
Sorry, my bad. I just want to say this real fast. Once again, we saw some of the images of the kid walking up the stairwell, right? Or whoever the fuck that was walking up the stairwell. And there was no indication of a gun on him at all. So that makes me think that the gun was already up there on the roof. If this played out the way the FBI is like, oh, it's Tyler Robinson. he shot this style gun from this distance on this building, right? If that's the case, and we saw the surveillance images. I don't know why they didn't show video, but they showed us pictures, still frames of this guy walking up the stairwell to get to the roof, right? And it appears he has no gun like that on him at all. So then the gun must have been just up there already, like planted there already by, I guess, himself. And imagine if someone just like did like a little walk around just to make, hey, let's make sure this is covered too. They would have saw a gun on the fucking roof, and it would have foiled the entire thing. You know, I'm saying like if the official story is correct. I wanted to throw that in there, but all right, here we go. Here's more.
What else am I to do? When a command level person from an accredited police department says, I've got this area.
Jeez. Yeah. Have you been in who is that?
That was the chief of police for the UVU police department. We've called him. He's never called us back.
Holy shit. Does he have a name?
Got some great cameras.
Yeah. Chief Long.
Chief Long.
And I didn't know if it said deputy in that or not, because in the correspond or in his stuff on the website it says Deputy Chief Long, but we just called him Chief Long. So it's like, yeah, I got guys that are 10 times more qualified than what he could have produced for us probably.
So literally all they had to do is post anybody at that stairwell.
Stairwell, roof.
Or put a drone up. Or
let us.
Let you do your job.
Now, here's the thing where I'll be fair to these guys or even the UVU police. Does anyone until it happens, no one's expecting something to happen. Let's be honest. Let's just be honest, right? So guys yeah, I'll watch the stairwell and they just go out for pizza because they don't expect something to happen. Granted, they have their job, right? But they might be like, oh, whatever, kid. Yeah, you're going to the room or whatever. Go ahead, do your thing. All right? It's like once again, if nothing happened to Charlie on that day, all the security failures would not even be known to any of us. But there would probably be some security failures. I'm just being honest. Not sure anyone would just expect that. Now, I do leave room for the conspiracy aspect of this of someone fucking set some shit up or whatever. Or this guy's bullshitting us right now. I'm just saying. What's it play?
Or let us. We
sorry, real quick. Candace said, I think in her last video, Candace was saying that this guy's kind of passing the buck. He's kind of relinquishing blame to someone else. Oh, it's their fault, right? But here we go.
Stairwell,
put a drone up, or
let us.
Let you do your job.
Or let us. Our team is built.
Some documentary style cameras.
Would it be okay if we put that screenshot of that text up for everybody to see?
Nice set.
So they know it's real?
Yeah, absolutely. And do a FOIA for his phone.
That's a good idea.
Do a FOIA. Do a FOIA for his phone and have those records put out so everybody can see them. Do a FOIA for the communications for days leading up to it. Do it. And the truth's like a lion. You set it free and it'll fight for itself.
One of my favorite sayings. Last question before we take a break. I just want to ask, were you understaffed or was anybody sick? Did you have what you needed?
Yeah, we usually had been
the same as every other event.
No, we upped it. Yeah.
You upped it.
Yeah, we upped it. We usually would run 8 to 9, depending on how many movements and how much movement inside. And so based on no articulable threat, but just the current world situation prior to that day, we upped the manpower to 12, and then we had actually a 13 there that came in the drive party. And so, but yeah, we upped it based on nothing, because it's like, all right, that we're in a kind of a place where we don't want to be. We're expecting a big crowd. It's the first one. We don't want to get behind the 8 ball. In security industry, it's a prevention industry, not a response industry. It is a response industry, but it should be a prevention industry. So we're there in the prevention model. And so you can see, if you pull the schematic up, the placement I put for our guys. And on that day, thank goodness we had them, because where the tent was that Charlie was under, there's a giant walkway above him. And when we were doing the walk that morning, one of the things that didn't come out in our advance was there was giant rocks that they used for architectural design all around there. And so we're seeing these rocks on the ground, and it's like, oh, people can come by and pick up these rocks and then throw them down on us and throw them down on Charlie. And so we did a temporary criminal trespass zone right above him on that bridge walkway, so that people couldn't come in it and throw rocks down on him. And so, but the problem is that we had to get PD units in here to take that area of responsibility. And we told them, hey, just like out there, we need you here to have oversight coverage, because one, it's a tape line. It's not a hard, wall or anything. And so you need statutory authority under Utah law to say, hey, you can't come in or you can be arrested. And so the PD came and did that. And then we had one, Scott, that did a hellacious job on making sure they stayed there and did their job. And so thank goodness we brought extra people. Mm-hmm. And so we upped our manpower for that one. Due diligence was done. It's weird in the security industry. I get calls all the time, and they're like, hey, we want to run a security detail, and we want 10 guys that are former SEALs and operators and SWAT guys, and we want up armoreds and this and this. And then I'm like, all right, here's what it's going to cost. And they'll call back, all right, we want one guy and a Toyota Sienna, and so it's budget's a factor.
Yeah.
And we eat a lot of money every year based on, hey, last minute non-approval of people, but let's bring them in just to save our asses. Mm-hmm. And that's a regular thing. And so, yeah, we had people for our assignment, and our assignment and our people's assignment was carried out meticulously. I mean, you had Dan next to Charlie, and Dan's only job is exfil. And you can see when Charlie got shot, within 2 seconds, Dan had his hands on him to push him down to the ground. And then within, you break it down forensically, like within 5 seconds, I was on top of Charlie. And then you saw our team actually doing exactly, falling back on top of him and collapsing back on top of him. Not one radio comms came out.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from.
Whoa. Okay. Now, I believe in one of these clips, at least in the caption, the text above it, he says he puts his finger in the wound to try to stop the bleeding. But a lot of people are like, we didn't see that at all. We didn't even really see blood on anyone necessarily. Now, once again, it's rough because, a lot of, as they call it, potato cameras and pixelation and all this shit. And when you take a camera like from far away and try to zoom in, it's going to distort the quality 100%. It's hard to see there. But then when they're carrying him, it's like it doesn't look like anyone's like tending to that wound as they have to get him to like somewhere where he could be helped, right? At the hospital. Granted, they kind of ran past the paramedics that were there, or the EMTs. Oh, okay. Okay. Let's keep it moving. Yeah, let's keep it moving. Here we go.
There's been a lot of rumors going around about there was no autopsy,
Sorry,
none of that. Was there an autopsy?
There was, and I can speak to that. Personally, I can speak to that. One, for those people saying that, do a FOIA. Do a FOIA to the medical examiner's office to Utah County.
Now, for probably typical minds, that makes sense, right? Oh, do a Freedom of Information Act, right? Do a FOIA request for those medical examiner and all that stuff, right? But usually those can take years and years. And if they find something sus, it might be like too late to like deal with it in the moment. So that's one thing where I'm like, I'm not mad at anyone going over the Charlie Kirk assassination story at all, because a lot of times people have questions. Maybe they're like, all right, they kind of like, or maybe they don't have questions. Things just time goes by, but then you try to like look back 10 years into the past and be like, okay, I gathered everything I could and from 10 years ago, versus like actually being there in real time and like doing the best you can to get all the information you can while it's like kind of happening still. Right? This thing is 2 months old. It's only 2 months old, the Charlie Kirk assassination. All right? So people should be gathering things. The FOIA statement right there, although it makes sense on the surface as far as like official documentation style thing, but like it's not realistic, dude. How long would that take? FOIAs can take years. Years and years. But all right. Let's continue. Here we go. Do it for you. Okay.
Get off your lazy ass and do it for you. They may not give you the
They're probably not.
autopsy information right now, but they'll certainly tell you, yeah, there's an autopsy. That's the first one.
But if they don't trust them with the conspiracy, that's not going to work, right? And if they have a closed-door trial for Tyler Robinson, it means we still won't see it, right? And then you have to FOIA for that. And then once again, it could take years. It could take years. But here we go.
The second one was the OR doc. Your question earlier about a pulse. We'll get back to that. And so they ended up working him in the room, and they ended up taking him to the OR because they got a pulse.
They did get a pulse?
They did get a pulse, but Charlie was a healthy man. He was very cognizant of his health, and he was a strong guy. And
they've had a pulse?
I'm sorry. I look at Charlie. He's not some super athlete that can survive that caliber to his neck like that. And he's just so strong and powerful. Like, he's not that. Sorry. Maybe he has good blood flow. Maybe he runs miles or does biking and all that shit. Okay, so he has decent blood flow. But you can't just go with like...
Maybe he fucking parried it at the like right time, He like leaned forward at just the right time.
For what? To have a pulse later?
Yeah.
I mean, okay, maybe he had a pulse, but like that's just gonna harm. Like for this guy, it's just gonna harm them for the way they handled it after he got shot. Because if he ended up getting a pulse later, that means something could have been done in the moment right there, right? And we have images of them walking past EMT guys with bags of equipment that could maybe try to like put pressure, like a lot of pressure on, what do they say, the carotid artery or whatever. Put a lot of pressure to keep the blood inside of them until they can get to a fucking surgeon, right?
Yep.
So that actually harms them a little bit, I would think. But okay, here, I'll hit play. Here we go.
They ended up working him in the room, and they ended up taking him to the OR because they got a pulse.
They did get a pulse?
They did get a pulse. But Charlie was a healthy man. He was very cognizant of his health, and he was a strong guy. And
they've had a pulse?
But
hold on. How long had it been since the shot to the hospital?
I have no idea. But you can.
That is a jugular shot.
You can be dead. A central nervous system. You got a strong heart, right? And that's what the OR doc told me.
Okay.
He said that's what it was. And so,
holy shit.
Yeah. And so I have no way.
Is this guy Joe Rogan?
I'm not a doctor. I just know what he told me, And so we go to that, and I'm sorry. What was your question again?
I'm getting a sense of nervousness, but that could be nervousness based on like how it looks versus like he has something to hide. I'll just say that intuition level. you could be nervous while not doing anything guilty. That can happen because you see how it looks to other people, right? But okay, here. Yeah, I'm wrecked. I think I'll just keep hitting play though, but I'm kind of wrecked. Here we go.
We were talking about the autopsy.
Oh, the autopsy. And so once they came down and said he didn't make it, and he talked about, he said if he'd have been shot in the OR, I wouldn't have been able to save him. And I was like, I mean, he's just kind of confirming things that I already knew.
If they said to you to be nice, you got to be honest, right?
And so I don't know how long. Well, I don't know what the timeline was, but I want to say, I can't remember who it was, but I knew. I was like, we're not going to turn this into some JFK. I specifically asked one of the doctors. I don't know. I remember what she looked like. Dark skin, like dark hair, probably 35, 40 years old. I said, how long until we can get an autopsy? And I remember her saying a day and a half. And I was like, oh. And so, I mean, she's the boss of that. That's just information. And so I remember I was like, man, that's a long time. We need to get this autopsy done and done right so that there's not some conspiracy. So, I mean, you're starting to think forward to that. And so I remember I was standing next to the chief of staff and the vice president called. And the vice president asked him, what do you need? And then he looked at me and said, what do we need? And I said, we need an autopsy now. So for these people that are saying there wasn't one done, go away. It was.
Now hold on. I don't think people are saying like there was no autopsy. I think they're saying that the way Andrew Colvett, representing tpusa, expressed how this autopsy is, and from the surgeon itself of, oh my God, Man of Steel, this could have killed 2 fucking moose. But Charlie Kirk's neck he's just such a healthy guy that his neck stopped this bullet after the FBI told us that it was a 30-06, right? It's like a high-powered rifle. That's why people are asking these questions. It's not because they're hardcore conspiracy theorists. I mean, I'm sure some are, but like that's it's just practical, right? The idea of the 30-06 is what the gun the FBI told us. Hitting Charlie Kirk in the neck from that distance, right, with nothing hindering it. Yeah, that didn't make sense to people, right? Everything after that is now where it starts entering the genre of conspiracy, to where it's like, well, what happened here? Why'd this happen? Who did what? What security did? Like, that's everything after that. But it's in my opinion justified, very much justified. So he can't just be like, yo, shut up about it. Can't just do that. It's like you might as well just, like, in a way, just say, hey, the authorities have the information. They will release it when they get through the trial to showcase that this guy is the one who killed Charlie Kirk and all that stuff, right? Why not just say that? I mean, you'll look bad anyway. No matter what you say, you're gonna look bad, right? Unless you have like questions about it or your own theories yourself, right? Other than that, you're gonna look bad. So you might as well just go with like, hey, we're waiting for the FBI to go over these things, and you'll find out when they do that. You'll find out when they go to court and the prosecutor brings it up to incriminate Tyler Robinson or whoever else. I'm just saying, like, if you're gonna, you can't just sit back and call them crockpots because they're like, yo, where's the fucking autopsy? All right, but here we go.
And there wasn't one done. We need, and I said, we need an autopsy now. So for these people that are saying there wasn't one done, go away. It was done. It was done. Do it for you.
And?
Yeah. Get the report when it comes out. It was done.
As people aren't gonna trust that.
It was done. Yeah. In the the OR doc released statements regarding, and there has been statements regarding the bullet and the travel. Oh, there should have been a blowout, and I was like, there wasn't an exit wound. There wasn't one. I was checking for that in the ride.
Now, here's the thing, tpusa, no one said anything until Candace fucking made it kind of famous of like, I saw the videotape, there's no exit wound. And then that's when people started saying things, all right? tpusa started having statements about this stuff, I believe. That's when the Andrew Colvin guy was like, hey, yeah, the surgeon said, oh, Charlie's very healthy, he had a strong neck, pause, and that's why the bullet didn't exit wound. So, all right, here we go. It's just like, why are you doing things like after Candace says it? Oh, fuck. Here we go.
Yeah, and so people are like, yeah, it's completely impossible. And I was like, man, I've seen bullets do weirder things on people. And so all I know is what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't an exit wound.
So it had to be an anomaly.
And so I know there was an autopsy done. One, because we requested it, they were there. And the second one was the local SO, and I believe it was the state police. They did the body transfer that night through the either Emmy's office or funeral home to the Emmy that night and took them there. So, yeah, for them to say that somebody broke the rules or Turning Point didn't follow the rules, that's lies. It's conjecture and it's lies. It's all that's people is wanting people to look at themselves. Yeah, it happened.
Wouldn't more people say like, hey, I don't know what happened. There's a lot of confusion. I don't know what happened. Why does he go? They're liars. They're straight liars. Why would you jump to that? That's just weird. But all right, here we go.
Do you think that the entry wound looked like an exit wound?
No, it was an entry wound.
Wrong question.
Why do you
Shawn
say
Ryan.
that?
So one, there wasn't an exit wound because I remember rolling his head over and cleaning it so I could see if there was an exit wound. And then I was having to open the wound up some to get more and pack it. If you've ever done an exit wound, it's not that hard. It's a lot bigger.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can feel it when you know, the rule of kind of thumb on that one is you don't want to make it bigger, but you got to keep packing it in there. And so, yeah, I've heard and seen them all. Like there was a guy that said, you know, that the mic blew up and it was a bomb.
Yeah, we were.
Why?
I was gonna wait. Yeah, there is a guy online that is saying that the microphone may have had some type of explosive projectile inside of it.
So it wrapped around the neck and created a hole.
That's the thing that I just couldn't wrap my head around either, is the accuracy that would have to take place from an explosion to actually get you in the neck.
Why are we going over the weirdest theories here? Why not go with the simple ass 30-06 hits the guy in the neck? Does that make sense? And his answer was, I've seen bullets do weird things. Is not good enough. And maybe he's ignorant, but Shawn Ryan, you should have some more investigation into it to have questions for this guy. But hey, how do you believe this when this is the case? Right? Okay. There we go.
But then other people are saying that there was maybe that maybe the explosion killed him, and that in fact there's actually some camera footage that somebody has done some type of assessment on. But I mean, you cut his shirt off.
Right.
Did you see any burn marks?
So
Did
that's
you see
my-
any indication of any type of explosion?
Back it up even further to that. You've been around explosives and shape explosives and stuff like that. It's like, what do you have when you have that? They had that down to like frames, right?
Why are we going into
where was the
detail about the
flash?
shit that no one actually believes in? Right? It's that's like
If
a
that was an
fringe
explosion,
theory.
where was the
What
flash?
fuck?
You have oxygen exchange to create the explosion. Where was the flash? Where was the char? It didn't exist. So
Do you know if his equipment is assessed before it's put on.
Yeah, it's actually held up there. That company that is a subcontracting company for them, they hold that all up there because, and they're around it, almost guarding it because people will steal it. Mm-hmm. And it's inside the non-permeable zone.
Okay.
So nobody has access to it. It's set up in there. Even the boxes are kept in there. And so it's inside that. And so it's on them. And then you can see, they walk up and actually pin it on him. So that system is integritized also. And again, it's a reach. Go all the way back to where's the explosion? You got frame by frame.
When
It's a once again the frames. Was it like 60 frames? Probably not even 60 frames. Probably like 30 frames, based on the quality I saw. So yeah, frame by frame is still not going to give you the answer. Even though, I just don't believe it's an explosive. Most people don't either anymore because it's kind of like an early day theory that kind of went away, right? But yeah, here we go.
When that theory came out, I don't
know why we're going over this theory.
I don't think it's necessarily out of the question. I mean, we know about the pagers,
absolutely.
But the way I looked at it was he was wearing a loose fitting T-shirt. Mm-hmm. That had I believe the Rode mic with the magnet,
Why are we going into so much detail about
on the other side
versus the 30-06? Like, make that make sense.
He's moving around, and so that that microphone, if it was a projectile, it would have had to have been pointed at the exact same spot, which would have been impossible to do with a loose shirt,
right?
And then there would have been an entry wound.
I'll let him finish the clip.
I've gone to the other side of the neck
right now, honestly.
But there was it was a trigger man, with a device to initiate the blast, but still though, to have him moving around like this in his loose shirt to have a piece of weight while he's moving around, you could not.
Probability.
It would be a coincidence for it to actually happen the way that it did.
Yeah.
It would be a coincidence. Mm-hmm. It would not be. I don't think you could chalk that up to skill, unless the explosion is what killed him. But what you're saying, no flash, no blast,
no char,
no burn marks, no.
And that's a real time.
You cut the shirt off, you would have seen it.
Yeah, that's a real time see too. You've seen explosions.
I've seen a lot of explosions.
And so you have those attributions. Where's the attribution to the explosion inside those frames? Mm-hmm. If it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist.
Are you guys here to be friends or actually go over something? You guys here to be best buddies or something like that? Get the feel goods or to actually go over things? Because I don't mind covering the exploding mic idea and kind of dismissing it. But why aren't we going over the most obvious thing that everyone, once again, anyone I've heard talk about guns before, in regards to that specific idea of a 30-06 doing that, is obviously the biggest smoke thing there, right? That's where the smoke is mostly there. So, why are we going over the exploding mic thing in such detail? Yeah, it's not even possible. Yeah, it's not possible. Fine, move on. Next. I'm wrecked. There you go. I'm kind of wrecked. Maybe there's other clips.
Make something into nothing.
What's good? I'll be fair. I'm watching this out of order, right? I'm not watching the entire 2.5-hour fucking thing. I'm watching clips. But they did bring up the 30-06 idea, and he's like, I saw bullets do crazy things. That was his entire explanation of that. And now the exploding mic has all these fucking details, at least in this fucking clip. And I'm a little bit wrecked by that. But all right, here we go.
And so I'm not saying that we shouldn't look at things, by all means.
Yeah.
We should. We look at people and press and in history of the United States, how valuable they've been. And I applaud these guys that are out there humping and working to want to have the truth. But don't say you're searching for the truth when you're lying to get it. Mm-hmm. And that's what's happening. Because you're not searching for the truth. You're searching for clicks.
I think that the people posting these.
I think he's chasing Candace
I don't know.
right there.
You know, I mean, I have mixed feelings. I think some people are legitimately just trying to figure it out. I think that there are other people that are very obviously making a living off of sensationalizing this.
Yeah.
But you know, I mean, I think
Name names. It's important then. Guess what? Your opinion on that is important. I don't care how fucking famous you are or how well known you are. Say who you think is doing what. Then you can have that conversation later, but don't be a fucking pussy and hide out the fucking names. Christ, bro, this guy sounds like Rogan to me. He reminds me of Rogan, honestly.
we live in a time where people don't, including myself, don't know where to find the truth. They don't know who to believe. They are starting not to even believe their own eyes.
And do you blame them?
No, I don't.
Not at all. Me neither. I mean,
I don't.
You look
we
at
have zero faith in any of these institutions.
You think about this. There's a guy out there, and he has a company called Paramount Tactical, and his name's Gary. And Gary took an ass whipping online because he went out there and said, and he did exactly what we're talking about right now. And people whipped his ass for telling the truth because he bucked the system. He said, no, look at this. And he broke it down from a professional standpoint because he has a background in it and a probability standpoint. And I didn't talk to him, and he was like 95% right, even on the medical stuff.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan Show from, if you get anything out of this, please like, comment.
Okay. Actually, let's fuck it. Keep it moving. This clip might be something, it might be the same thing. I don't know why he would post the same clip twice, but let's give it a shot and see if it's something different or the same. Here we go.
We're talking about the tearing up of the crime scene and everybody's wanting them to find the bullet. I mean, if the bullet hit any bone at all, there is no bullet. It's just fragmentation.
Great point.
And
that was discussed already.
And if there was no...
That's not the biggest question. The biggest question was, why is there no exit wound with a caliber bullet like this? And I'm not not a gun expert at all. I don't know ballistics. I'm going based on talking to regular people and also seeing content creators go over their things, whether they have military experience or gun experience or whatever the fuck. Here we go.
Exit wound in the all top and just find the bullet. I mean, if the bullet hit any bone at all, there is no bullet. It's just fragmentation.
Great point.
And
that was discussed already.
And if there was no exit wound in the autopsy though, there should be. I mean, if there was no exit wound, then there should be fragmentation of the bullet would have fragmented into who knows how many pieces.
The doctor, and again, this is not a non-disclosure violation, but the doctor came out there and told us. And then they also told Chief of Staff.
Told you what?
So the bullet came in and hit the vertebra. So it came in and then tore up everything in the wound cavity, hit the vertebra, crushed it, shattered it, turned, crushed the second one. Kept going down all the way. I think they said C6.
Holy shit.
That's the thing now where everyone's going to be like, no. People are going to say no to that. Straight up. That's the thing. That's almost, what is that? That's almost 90-degree turn, right? The bolt's coming from high to low, right? It's hitting a vertebrae in his neck, which somehow stopped a 30-06. Right? It hit that and turned down to the next vertebrae and hit that. That's like, that's once again almost 90 degrees. The fuck? Yeah. This thing is now weird to me. Like, why aren't you asking questions about it? Like, hey, how does that happen? Why not ask that question? Here we go. Let's find out. Here we go.
So the bullet came in and hit the vertebra.
Not a gun expert, but like
so it came
questions that have been asked are not being addressed here.
Tore up everything.
But they're speaking matter of
fact. Hit the vertebra, crushed it, shattered it, turned, crushed the second one, turn kept going down all the way. I think they said C6.
Holy shit.
Please mute yourself,
Why
my
not
man.
put that info out?
I'm sorry, dude.
Why not put it out? And then
Why wouldn't they put that out?
then if it do me a favor, don't going down all the way. I think they said C6.
Holy shit.
Yeah, it's like, why not put that
That's Joe
info
Rogan.
out?
Whoa.
Why not put it out? And then
Why wouldn't they put that out?
then if it do me a favor, don't make me do it. It's not my job. And so then it got to here, and
Now you're
you're
here for
exactly
cannon
right.
fodder, my man. It
And then
seems
hit,
like.
I think, 6, and then fragged. And so explanation 101. What are you hiding? Yeah. It's like I'm sitting back here when people are saying we bombed him or there's a wound. I'm like, hey, if somebody would, from an official capacity, would just release that. And I don't see how that could jeopardize a fair
Yes.
trial for a guy.
People are already dropping. Wait, hold on. First of all, people are already dropping they bombed him with his lapel mic thing. It's already kind of dropped. And now he's saying what? What was he just
So
saying?
explanation 101. What are you hiding? Yeah. It's like I'm sitting back here when people are saying we bombed him or there's a wound. I'm like, hey, if somebody would, from an official capacity, would just release that. And I don't see how that could jeopardize a fair trial for a guy.
Okay, fair enough. All right, good point.
And or somebody call the doctor. Somebody just call him.
Yeah, Candace, call him. Awkward silence.
This guy, George Zen.
Well,
You
yeah, that's
familiar with
it.
this guy?
That's fucking it. That's it. In fact, I don't even think they mentioned the caliber of the bullet at all. Not even once yet. At least in this clip. The fuck? What the fuck are we doing? Okay. This guy reminds me of Joe Rogan quite a bit. This is my first time watching this guy actually. Shawn Ryan. My initial intuitive sense is this is Joe Rogan. Yeah, so the thing that hit JFK was actually like a magic bullet. Yeah, it turned crazy degrees in the midst of killing everyone in the car, or hitting this guy in the arm, killing JFK, going up through his head. Boom. Magic bullet. Whoa. Wow. That's crazy. It reminds me of Joe Rogan. You don't have counter questions for that, my man? Nothing? Okay.
He the one that said
He is the performance
We'll see.
immediately after the shooting. I believe he was saying that he had the shooter. He was also a witness to 9/11, called to the bomb threat in Salt Lake City marathon. I mean, he seems to show up at a lot of.
I'm sorry for pausing again, but people were calling George Zen like a distraction or a decoy, and now in this conversation it comes off as a distraction or a decoy. That is the irony of that. Here we go.
one that said
He is the
I'll shut up, though.
performance
I'll hear it out.
immediately
Here we
after
go.
the shooting. I believe he was saying that he had the shooter. He was also a witness to 9/11, called to the bomb threat in Salt Lake City marathon. I mean, he seems to show up at a lot of
yeah. And so-
historic
incidents,
crises.
right? And then gets arrested, and then later gets arrested for child porn
Mm-hmm.
after that. And so that was a weird deal because that
It's like they never heard the
came to
30-06
us at the
story.
hospital. Hey, they have somebody in custody,
Crazy.
and I'm like, awesome. And then our guys helped hold that perimeter area while they were arresting him. And I want to say they
I better be wrecked in the
held
clips I
on to
picked
some
out.
gear or something.
There's some other clip.
I'd have to double check with them, but they were
Better be some
there
other clip
assisting the
where they
police
have
for that because they're still in
full-blown
there in the holding the
30-06
crime
analysis
scene.
by these two
Yeah,
motherfuckers.
and so how did this guy
There
get
better
there?
fucking be.
And
Otherwise, it's
they
fucking
did the search
weird.
warrant on his house, and they released it. It's like, hey, dump his phone and release that too.
Mm-hmm.
Dump the tower information and release that too. I want to see who he was talking to 2, 3, 4, 5 days beforehand. I want to see what towers hit. Yeah, I want to see that. Yeah, I want to know, who is this guy? Why is he around
All these things.
all these things?
Yeah, but you just said. Didn't you say you talked to the medical guy, the surgeon, or whatever the fuck, and hit the C2 and did the C1, then went down to the C2 and did all this shit, right? So what the fuck would George Zinn have to do with anything? At that point, that's you accepting the official story the way it is, which would mean that George Zinn has nothing to do with anything. He's just randomly there. It's like, are you now all of a sudden like curious about conspiracy theories? All of a sudden? Like, come on, like I'm trying. Like, I swear to God, I try to be nice. I try to be fair. I try to like hear people out. I've not listened to any of this shit before. I'm just going like natural reaction. And it's like breaking my brain of like what they're leaning into versus what they're not leaning into. It's kind of like looking at like, man, why does the world suck? And they lean right into the weirdest things of weirdest things, right? And no offense to David Icke, they lean at the fucking reptilians idea first. Let's debunk that real fast. Like, no, go with the actual, like the more typically accepted ideas first. Like, deal with those first. I want to hear your answers for those. There we go.
What questions do you have?
You know,
You had some good questions about Robinson.
yeah, I want to know. I want to know who this kid is. I don't want to know that he was something that feeds a narrative of hate and division. That he was his boyfriend was trans or whatever, and that they had text back and forth. I want to know. It's like, all right, where did he work? And then who were his coworkers, and did they interview his coworkers?
And you already talked about how he got to the rooftop, right? You already took the story of like, man, how'd this kid get to this rooftop? Doesn't go to the university, right? He doesn't go to that school. How did he make his way to that rooftop? I guess there was a gun planted there already, which means it took multiple days to do that. How'd all that happen, huh? But don't worry, this guy already gave us a story for that. Utah police fucked up, or sorry, UVU police. They fucked up and didn't cover the stairwell to the fucking roof. Like, those are the questions I would be asking, not like, yeah, those two, I guess. Like, where does he work and all that stuff. I'm sure that will, I mean, who knows if that even comes up in trial either. The point is, like, this is what I meant with people. When like, oh my God, Israel did this. I'm like, yo, go with the simplest thing so that no one has any room to run anywhere. You have to answer this question. This thing right here, this question does not, the answers we've heard don't make sense, all right? It's like, okay, we're going to stay there until you make it make sense. Why not stay there? But now he has other theories to tailor off to feel like he's answering questions. Not saying this guy's sus or anything. I'm just saying, like, if he was sus, he has an easy out. Clear as day, easy out. You can't just go with, hey, bullets do things. That's not good enough. That is not good enough. Bullets do things. It's not good enough. But for the pager, he has all the expertise in the world. Or sorry, not pager. Lapel mic, right? They kind of reference Israel's pager assassinations that failed horribly. Unless you're targeting civilians, then it does work pretty good. But whatever. All right. I'm being nice here, man. I'm trying to be nice. It's just you're not going over the actual like fuck all the theory. Like, what makes the most sense as like military dudes? If there was a conspiracy, what would you guys go with? If the caliber of the gun of the bullet is this, what do you expect to happen? Make an explanation for why it didn't happen that way, or did happen that way. Whatever. Like, really do that. Instead, we're skipping that and going to the kind of far out reaches. Okay, here we go. It's kind of like Cash Patel. Like, yeah, we covered every theory we could get our hands on. You know, we covered every theory we could. We have dismissed the idea that the dog over there that was, the support dog in the corner over there had a gun pointing out of his mouth and shot Charlie Kirk. We have dismissed that idea. FBI is all over this case. Like, come on. Here we go. It's the funny thing is no one's going to hear me. No one's going to understand me saying this for some reason. It feels like that. That's what breaks my heart. Simple shit. Very simple. Here we go.
And then I want to see his phone logs and the towers that it hit. I want to interview his friends, and did he have any help? They said, oh, well, we have DNA on the rifle, and I want all that information. That's a good
Why'd you
tie,
stop there?
right? Now, from a judicial standpoint,
They had DNA on the towel, right? They had DNA on the towel. Why was it wrapped in a towel in the woods? That'd be a nice question, but instead he doesn't go with that, does he? He does something else. Here we go.
phone logs
Once again, I don't know if this guy's sus or not.
and the towers that it hit. I want to interview his friends, and did he have any help? They said, oh, well, we have DNA on the rifle, and I want all that information. That's a good tie, right? Now, from a judicial standpoint, I can understand why they're saying, we don't want to put all this information out because the judge said it may
He's also
taint a
saying
potential
Tyler
jury
Robinson
because
is
they're
the one
gonna
that did
seek
it,
the death
too.
penalty. And I'm like, from a book standpoint, I
It
understand
screams sus,
that.
bro. It screams sus.
But
I'm
you
being
got a lot of
nice.
people out there wondering, hey, did this guy do it by himself? And then you throw my wonder on there. It's like, wow, so he just
People are mostly asking, did he do it at all? People are asking that. I'm sorry, like you can do that with other audiences or other people, but that's not working on me. I'm sorry, I'm not going with that. I can't just establish Tyler Robinson as the fucking killer yet. I can't do that. I've not seen enough evidence to point that direction yet. Or sorry, to make that a. All right, he's the guy that did it, most likely. I'm not there yet at all. And hopefully, audience, you do the same. Hopefully, you think about it a little bit, but you do your thing. All right, here we go.
the rooftop was clear.
I'm trying to
and
shut
then
up,
he
but I
jumped
can't.
up on it, acquired a shooting position, took the shot. That shooting position was a loophole. If it had been 5 meters this way or what, this way wouldn't have happened. And then can we go through his phone or his computer and find a Google Earth overhead that he was looking at it days, weeks, months before? Did he access that before? Because obviously it's a problem, because that's how we came upon the information.
Was he there?
It's easily accessed, and how we gave it to the chief to say, hey, chief, you got this, right? I got you covered. So that's information we need to know. I want to know about this kid. I want to know if somebody helped him. Is he a patsy? Is he, was there a group of people?
What's a patsy?
Is he taking the blame for other people? Mm-hmm. Or is he part, is he a lone wolf? But then we all thought Timothy McVeigh was a lone wolf too, right? Mm-hmm. And then we come to find out, nah, people knew about it. He had assistance. Even if it was assistance of, we knew you were going to do something and then we didn't say something. So, yeah, I have questions to him. I have questions, and this is horrible because I'm a father. I have questions to his father.
Aren't they saying that he took the rifle apart with a flathead screwdriver?
That's a big one I want to know.
There we go.
And it's like, I know there's footage out there, and I don't know what to believe and how it got down. It's like, all right, I want to know that. How did the rifle get from the roof to where they found it? That's a big one. How did the rifle get from the shooting position all the way back across to where they found it?
And then it was reassembled.
How'd they get there in the first place?
I don't think that it ever was disassembled, because even an AR platform, think about it.
You know what I mean?
Pin, break, pull, it's going to take a bit. That's a bolt gun.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting at.
Right.
It's
not going to happen.
I probably should have been a little bit more descriptive about that for.
So I want to know about that.
Non-shooters.
Yeah, and there's other things.
Enthusiasts.
Yeah. I look at that and I look at a lot of things that are going on at Turning Point, and because I saw Man, I've seen people say that Erica was involved in it. His wife.
Oh my god, he jumped to like he had like, hey man, heard about how he took the gun apart and then put it back together in the woods. How did he get it there in the first place? Was it planted there? Right? Those are questions to ask, I would think. And then
Who
he
the
jumped.
fuck is this guy?
He's the head of security for Charlie Kirk, or was,
What the fuck, dude?
and now he's going off to like he's gonna go towards. I mean, I've been hearing the hints of him going at Candace Owens, I believe, essentially, and now he's probably gonna lean even harder into that. Maybe not Candace by name, but like, yeah, we're
Right.
going that direction. Once again, no discussion on 30-6 at all. Nothing on that yet.
Yeah, dude. And I mean, he did mention accurately, like, yeah, taking apart an AR, you can stuff that in the backpack, maybe, depending on how big the bag is.
Yeah.
But a bolt action, 30-06 is not going to be, you're not going to be able to fucking, like I said, you're going to be walking with a fucking, like a straight leg type of deal.
Yeah, and we have images of him essentially up the stairwell. According to what the FBI showed us, is like this is the guy right here.
Right.
And the images, like he has bent knees. He doesn't look like he's carrying anything, honestly, as far as like that weapon, right? Which means the gun had to be up there already, right?
Mhm.
And it's like, do we have like, can we backtrack surveillance video? Like, okay, can we see like a couple days ago or something like that? Apparently, these two have no questions about that. Apparently,
Yeah.
and
Nothing
it's
to
just
see
weird, just like weird, like it's almost like the things that they're not saying. And once again, I'm not calling them guilty at all, or a part of some sort of thing, or operation, or scheme, or conspiracy. I'm just saying, like, it's almost like the things that would you almost want to like pierce towards what they're not bringing up more so than what they're actually saying. That's just my feeling of things so far, where it's like I think there's more information towards what they're not saying than what they actually are saying. But all right, going at Erica Kirk. I'll have display, but I'll kind of BRB. Here we go.
I've done a lot of death notifications where I had to tell kids that their parents were dead or their parents that their kids were dead. And I know what pain looks and sounds like. I wake up screaming sometimes, thinking of kids' faces. The words that came out of her mouth and how they came out when she walked in that room and saw him, you don't want to hear that. She's a victim. That's her husband. And now people without any proof are saying that she was a part of killing him. Come on, man. And then not having anything to substantiate it with. That's what makes me lose faith in people. And that we allow it. And that platforms allow it. It's like,
I assume the Erica Kirk stuff.
it goes against everything that we are. And if we're going to allow that, what else are we going to allow? You hear that kind of pain come from somebody and see it. And I could only imagine the pain she's feeling now by happening to hear that people say that she was a part of it. Those are lies.
I mean, once again, you're going to the nth degree of speculation by people on the internet versus like even with Erica Kirk, the most grounded version. Like, I'm sorry, when you see Charlie's orange fucking hands in his casket and her crying over it with a camera, like, it looks like it doesn't look right, bro. It looks weird. It looks super weird. Like, why are you having someone like film this? Why are they filming this? The fuck? They don't show Charlie's face, obviously. They show his hands only. That look orange as fuck. And she's like, oh my God, like leaning onto his hands and probably kissing them and crying over it. And it's like, why is anyone filming that? The fuck? And why is she allowing that? The fuck? Instead of going there, he goes to what? Oh, Erica Kirk is like actually did like part of the assassination herself, right? Which is the nth degree versus like just having simple questions. Once again, about Charlie being killed himself or about some of the actions of Erica Kirk. They look weird. What do you want me to say? They look weird. Is that implies? I'm not saying she did anything wrong at all. Maybe she's weird. That's fine. I'm okay with weird people. I'm a weird person. I'm okay with that. But like, it has to be said. Like it's like we're staring at it, but don't want to point it out. It's like it is like we can say like we can ignore grandma's wedgie. We can ignore it, to be nice. But at the same time, it's like you point it out. Like what's the big deal? You pointed it out. Whatever. Here we go.
Lies.
I'm getting nothing from either one of these guys, honestly. So far, at least.
And so we have that organization. It's got this huge power vacuum going on now, and I'm sure it's affecting it. It's affected me, and so that's an organization with a lot of great people in it, doing good things. And so. Where do we draw the line to people making allegations of bad behavior? It's a huge question. I mean, could you imagine? Think of this for a second.
You're asking for being. He's kind of asking for people being banned, right? I don't know how these social media allow this. Like, no, you're supposed to allow it, but take it down with arguments. So here's what you do. This guy right here. Like, he can say he's above it, right? I'm above all that stuff. But if you want to like actually do the thing, like you can make a YouTube account today. You can make one. You can get a camera or a microphone and say, hey, I'm this guy. Here's my credentials. Lay out your whole fucking life story for all you want. And then react and answer to all the fucking questions that are out there on the internet. You could do that. You could do that. Based on your best knowledge of things. But instead, it sounds like he's asking more for, like, how did they allow this on the internet, huh? It's like, shut up. Can't go there. And if the guy means well, like, I'm sorry to tell him to shut up, but, like, it's... Maybe you're just out of date, bro. You don't understand what the fuck's going on here. Where the concern is at. And yeah, I am aware that people are taking advantage of this thing, for sure. But, I don't know, I'd be like, yeah. Just like you're doing now, use a platform that you can get to showcase, like, hey, I think this person's full of shit. I don't think they actually care. I think they're abusing the story for their own gain. Let that be known. Why not? Why can't you do that? All right, here we go.
Behavior.
Just saying.
It's a huge question. I mean, could you imagine? That's an organization with a lot of great people in it, doing good things. And so where do we draw the line to people making allegations of bad behavior? It's a huge question. I mean, could you imagine?
Deja vu.
Think of this for a
having
second.
It right now.
You've lost friends. And could you imagine somebody reporting that one of your friends, his wife was responsible for their death? What would you want to do to him?
Yeah.
And it's like, man, we're better than this. We should be better than this.
Very cinematic.
We're not. people were bitching about the leaders we have. And I was like, hey, we get the leaders we deserve.
Oh, shit.
Good point.
Okay.
And we don't deserve very much right now. On each side. On each side. Both sides.
No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan show.
Okay. So it seems like the show is like very, very cinematic. Like everything is very cinematic. We have one more clip left. Once again, I apologize if Shawn Ryan on the YouTube video where it's a lot longer, right? 2.5 hours or something like that. If I just miss out on their context, I apologize for, saying these guys are doing like a mediocre job, both of them. But if it's not in there, then yeah, we got some explaining to do, I think. But either way, let's move on to the last part, or last clip I have of Shawn Ryan with the head of Charlie Kirk's security detail. Here we go.
We've seen a lot of
And the volume upkicked like that. Crazy.
Charlie's friends, people that are in the media, come out and say Charlie had very specific concerns about Israel, and that his opinions were changing.
Bro, a lot of this is about Candace Owens without Candace Owens being brought up by name yet. Not yet, at least, from these clips. And I don't know why you're asking the head of security about Charlie's ideologies. I thought his concern is strictly security, right? But let's see if he has an answer for all of this. Here we go. I'll just start from the beginning. Here we go.
We've seen a lot of Charlie's friends, people that are in the media, come out and say Charlie had very specific concerns about Israel, and that his opinions were changing about Israel, and that he had expressed concerns about this to various media personalities. My question is the man that owns the company that's in charge of his security detail, and you are the head guy on his security detail,
Pause.
Were there any concerns about that or any other organization, political party, foreign nation? Did he express any of those concerns to you?
No, and Dan works for Turning Point as their security guy, and so Dan feeds down that to us to our contracted security, which is us for integrity.
Okay.
And so nothing had ever come now from Charlie down to us about that. Now, at the same time, you got to look at the world we live in, and that's a reality. It's a reality that an organization, whether it be a hate group of any type, could want to hurt anybody. Not necessarily Israel, but we look at mathematics too, and there's probabilities and possibilities, right? And I look at the probabilities. The possibilities are infinite. And the probabilities are that it's not. The probabilities are the people that want to hurt him are the people that are there screaming things at him in front of us half the time. And so
left.
we have to look at those probabilities and the mathematics. We look at the possibilities too. And those possibilities, I'm sure, are out there, but we've never got any detail or intel to show that yet we should look into this deeper.
I mean, it is very interesting that if he was that concerned about foreign nations or opposite political affiliations, I mean, if he was that concerned, I don't know why that wouldn't have been disseminated down to the security detail. I mean, I have a security detail, and if I feel that there is a threat, even if it's just a feeling, that's the first people that I tell is my security detail.
We looked at, we look at all that, and you can go back and look at his speeches, and Charlie was an absolute supporter of Israel. And then he would say, and they would ask him why. And so, we're in those things and we're listening, but at the same time you're looking, but you hear these things and you hear them over. And I can remember him saying, he was a supporter of it because one, a nation should be able to defend itself after they've been attacked. Two, Charlie was a devout Christian to the point that he gave his life for it. And he referenced this, and I heard him reference it, where those places that are our holy land are being taken away from us and not being able to visit, and that you can't go there. And so that protection of Israel was important to him. And those.
Yeah, that's weird. That's weird. That is weird. Although I think Charlie basically leaned in that direction, from my opinion and understanding. I know people are saying like, oh, he's turning, he's changing his mind, but typical Charlie Kirk that we're used to. Would definitely say something similar to what this guy's saying. It's just, why the fuck are you saying that? You're the fucking security guy. I'm all for everyone saying their opinions. It's just like, here's what I'm getting here. Is that this feels like a pseudo interview with the small clips I'm watching, 10-minute, 8-minute clips I'm watching, right? Compared to like 2.5 hours or whatever the fuck it is, right? But still, it feels like a pseudo interview, to where maybe you bring up a topic that people are talking about, but you cover it in such a way to where it's like, it's almost meant to like say, okay guys, we went over it, next, or never mind, all right, we're done with that, instead of like going into full detail on these things that should probably be gone into full detail on. Does that make sense? Like, we should actually be like diving into that, or like really like looking into it, versus like giving a kind of on the surface cursory fucking answer about whatever topic. But I don't know. It doesn't feel like, this doesn't feel right. It feels very cinematic and not really like what people mean when they bring up Israel in regards to this topic, right? Like, it's maybe not bringing up the context of like why people are bringing up Israel as a normal, not a fucking content creator, but like an actual person bringing it up, right? Same with the bullet caliber and the autopsy and the medical examiner and how Charlie was killed in the first place and no exit wound and all that stuff. It's almost like it's brought up, but it's not actually went into the way that I think typically regular people, like what I've seen at least on the internet, have gone into. It feels like that's being skipped. And it feels like if someone pushed Shawn Ryan on that, he'd be like, yeah, but I brought it up, though. I brought it up. It was said. See, look, here's a transcript. I said, what about this? And then the conversation goes nowhere near like what people mean by like a certain topic. Right? It's forgive me for thinking that. It just feels like bullshit. Again. But all right. Here we go.
Holy sites, and he'd been there. And so he had talked about being there and how it changed his life. And so that's why those sites in that area was important for him to protect. Now, how you can derive Israeli hitmen out of that, I have no idea. But we have never received anything from the FBI, which they were pretty good about.
You're not addressing what people are concerned about in regards to Israel, in regards to Charlie Kirk. You're not actually bringing that up. Like, go over it. Bring up the text messages that Candace released, or Charlie's losing favor with Israel. Charlie questioned October 7th, right? Bring all that shit up and then debunk it from there, or say like, I don't believe that, or sorry, I understand this exists, but I still don't believe that Israel killed Charlie Kirk, or has had anything to do with Charlie Kirk being killed. But instead, we're bullshitting around. Like, I hear those ideas. I listen to the people saying these ideas. I give it credence to some degree to be like, okay, what if, right? And I walk away saying, okay, maybe that doesn't make sense to me. And I walk away from it. Like, in that sense. But not, if I don't go over it at all, then what's the fucking point? You're saying nothing. You're saying bullets can do crazy things, which is not an answer to anything. Like, I'm sorry, dude. It's not an answer for anything. No one's going to accept that. In fact, don't be surprised if you end up on Candace's fucking list. Just being honest. Now, Candace did bring up this interview, but she brought up, like, certain things that are not in this area. She brought up, what'd she bring up? It was outside of, like, Israel. It's outside of the caliber of the bullet. It was more so about the roof coverage thing. It's like, yo, Candace, are you avoiding, like, why are you avoiding the thing that's, like, the elephant in the room in regards to this case? Why not go right there? But instead, Candace doesn't do that, and neither do these guys. They don't go there either. So thus, we're kind of stuck, I think. We're kind of stuck here. Okay. Maybe I'm the idiot. I'm sorry for pausing. Let's keep playing.
I have no
Let's hear
idea.
the smart people talk.
But we have never received anything from the FBI, which they were pretty good about sharing information, Secret Service, because of the Charlie Circle. And we had never received anything from anybody that was credible that was saying that groups of that entity was a threat to him. We received other ones.
Israel
other
Antifa?
threats all the time.
What kind
All.
what kind of
They
threats?
come in all the time, and so you got to look at them. Are they First Amendment or are they actual threats? And so First Amendment threats would come in, and these people have disgusting. They're like, Charlie, I can't wait till you come to, it was somewhere on the West Coast. I can't remember
Here he
what town
goes,
it was, but
pointing
I can't wait
towards the
till you
quote-unquote
come to this
left.
town so that I hope somebody
Right.
shoots you in the head and we can pee in the hole.
What?
Yeah. It's like, where do you get this kind of stuff?
Man.
Bro, every well-known person with a fucking social media account gets fucking death threats. Let's be honest. And they say some grotesque shit. Most likely. Right? I'm just saying, like, that's probably the case. But I can see him, like kind of swerving and turning the conversation towards the left, Antifa. He's not saying it in words, but like I could smell that idea being basically said. Israel, it's nothing to do with it. But Antifa, though, the left, the people that were there to contrast Charlie Kirk, to challenge Charlie Kirk, right? That were there to prove him wrong. Maybe not them exactly, but that ideology with a more extreme personality type equals Tyler Robinson, which is what I think this guy is kind of saying. And we have Shawn Ryan, a.k.a. Joe Rogan, saying, whoa, wow. These are your fucking media guys. Here we go. Let's continue. I know, Jordan, shut up. These guys know better. Here we go.
And so where do you what are you benefiting from it, right? And so am I gonna spend an exorbitant amount of time with a possibility that I don't have any tangible intel on and haven't received any, or am I gonna put my eggs into this basket that is a probability right here? And so it's probable these people are doing it with bomb threats, routinely, physical, threats to person. And so you got to look at all these things and work those angles. And, Dan did that meticulously, and he shared that information with us. And so if that came in, we got it. And we never got anything that, no Mossad or nothing. That was never, not once.
Did anybody,
Canadian?
I've interviewed a lot of war fighters. I'm a war fighter. A lot of times somebody on the team will have some type of a feeling or a premonition or, hey, we shouldn't be here right now, or
Intuition.
something's about to happen. I don't have a good feeling about this. Did anybody you're on your team or Charlie, anybody express any concerns about that day?
Why does he
On
sound
that
Canadian?
day, well,
I'm just saying.
for us personally, when you walk in and we talk about workup, right? So we start the back workup, and then we're a little different also as far as our guys don't just get to show up. The team goes out and we physically build all of our prevention model. So they don't show up and just see it. They physically build it, and we walk through it each other, and we make sure things are done right. And so our guys are pulling bike racks and putting them together, and they're putting tape up, and they're looking at places all around the bubble that our area of responsibility is. And so, you know, they're looking around thinking, God, this is horrible. You know, it's a beautiful amphitheater there at UVU, but, you know, you're a tactician. If you're somewhere and you're covered from an elevated position from 180 degrees, it's horrible. And that's where we were. But that's come out. It's like, why would they have it there? This is ignorance. You know, it's a security fail. And I'm like, well, one, that's where they told us we had to have it. We weren't optioned out anywhere else. There's a permit you have to get. And the school says, nope, this is where you have to have it. We don't get to argue with them. You know, we don't get to say, no, but
What?
that's it. This is where you have to do it. And then secondarily, Charlie liked it. It wasn't ticketing. You didn't have gates. Regular people showed up, and we had spoke to him about it before. And it's like, man, this is getting dangerous, you know? And his response was, I know. And so it's like, but if you ticket it and you make people jump through hoops to come in or pay or go through magnetometers, and then the people with opposing views don't show up, and then there's no conversation.
Oh, Christ's sakes, bro. I'm sorry, dude. This is so cinematic. Forgive me, but my intuition leaped when hearing this. Like, what the actual fuck? I'm talking to the people, man. Well, that's not what happened. It's like he got shot by a guy on a rooftop far away, right? Like, that's what happened. Right, guys? It's man, security. It's like, what do we do about this? He already said the reason why there was no one like looking at those rooftops was because they passed it to the police to handle. Right? And the police, I guess, didn't handle it. And also, like, no one, like, I'm sorry. Go to September 9th. No one on planet Earth is thinking that Charlie Kirk's going to get shot the next day. I don't care how, the security details, all this shit. I'm sorry, dude. No one expecting that, bro. And it's like, man, this is the perfect venue for for Charlie to get like harmed, right? And it's like you're telling me like, so it's like, is there like every day someone's like trying to show up with a sniper rifle to kill Charlie Kirk every single day, or was it a perfect storm of coincidence where this kid shows up to shoot Charlie Kirk and it just happens to be lax security and the perfect venue to escape security? Like he's making like sound like a movie more so than like how does that happen in the first how did that happen? How does that happen in the first place? Is every event he goes to someone showing up with a sniper rifle, seeing security, like, oh fuck, the security's there. Let me leave now. Let me dip. And the one day where it's like a bad venue, and I guess lacking UVU police presence, all of that happened simultaneously. For this one event to happen where this guy shot a high-powered rifle that wasn't as high-powered as it I guess it's supposed to be, and he hit him at such an angle that it did an 80-degree turn and fragmented inside of Charlie Kirk's body, no exit wound, and then you run past the paramedics or EMTs to throw him in the back of an SUV. They actually waited for a guy to hop in the trunk, by the way, for some guy to like hit the button on the trunk. It opens, hop back in the trunk, hit a button for it to go down. They waited for that to happen. Apparently, they didn't take the medical bag. Apparently, they found a pulse at the hospital. Come on, dude! Like, it's too much. Way too much. Way too much. And I think this guy's answer would be like, well, we got to get a FOIA, which would take years to get. I'm just saying, like, logically, like, come on. Not good enough. Not good enough. Yeah, not good enough. the and then this guy's like implying like, yeah, it's the far left. They just really don't like Charlie because he's Christian. He's so Christian they don't like him. Where they would shoot at him. It just sounds stupid on the surface. It sounds dumb. It sounds really dumb. Welcome to Earth, I guess.
Rogan. Whoa.
This guy, yeah, it's been his ultimate reaction so far. So it hit the C1, then hit the C2, then went straight down. Whoa, really? Wow. Listen, you can have nice HD cameras. You can look confident as fuck. You can dress nice. You can have a nice studio setup, nice microphones. But you could be dumb as rocks too and have all of that. Just saying. Here we go. Whoa.
Jump through hoops to come in, or pay, or go through magnetometers, and then the people with opposing views don't show up, and then there's no conversation. And when there's no conversation, there's more division. And his goal was to have less division through conversation. And so
that's a tagline. That's a talking point. It's not even fucking true. Like, he would. There's plenty of people that would have conversations, but Charlie would try to pull them towards his side at best. At best. Which is not conversation. It's manipulation, you dummy. And also, if Charlie had an idea, was blatantly shown to be wrong about it, he's not going to concede on it. It's like, stop it. You can't make me believe that. That if someone made a case for, like, why Charlie's wrong about whatever topic, there's no chance he fucking concedes on it, bro. He wouldn't do that. He'd fucking lean into it, like, no, I'm right. And he'll make up a reason for it. Charlie, why are we supporting Israel? Well, they're our greatest allies. They give us intelligence. They help us, militarily in the Middle East. No, that's not the case. Like, here's a problem for Americans. Here's another problem for Americans. Here's another problem for Americans. What do you think about that? Well, God says that we have to like Israel. God said so. What's Charlie's actual rebuttal when he got caught up in foreign policy because he's dog shit at it? Like, come on, son. We're not stupid. We're not dumb. These taglines and phantasmagoria of what the Charlie Kirk character was. It's like, come on. It won't work on me. It's not going to work on me. This is bullshit. And also, I just want to point out as well, like, Candace, why didn't you cover these aspects of this conversation? Why'd you focus on something else? That should be, like, also paid attention to. I know right now, Candace is a fucking hero right now. I get that. But if you're not paying attention, things like this might slip by. Like, hey, you brought up some clips on your show, Candace. Why didn't you cover these things? Why not? I'll hit play. Here we go.
And when there's no conversation, there's more division. And his goal was to have less division through conversation. And so the easiest way to get that was to open it up. And that's not the first. I mean, UVU was an open air, but we did San Francisco where we had a street takeover and people trying to climb over fences, and our primary and secondary exfil got compromised, and so it was bad.
Wow. No matter where you're watching Shawn Ryan show from, if you get anything out.
Okay, Rogan. All right. There's your video from the experts, if you will. I feel like I was. I guess I have to watch the entire 2 hour 45-minute fucking video. Find the substance somewhere, or not. But there it is. There's your video. Please subscribe if you feel like. Comment. Agree, disagree. Tell me what you think in the comment section. I don't know. I'm trying to. Honest to God, at least in my mind, I'm trying to be fair. In my mind, at least. and I still smelling a deli, if you will. Something smelly in the deli, I guess. But yeah, tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Also, please check out the Discord link if you want to join that. We are in that Discord right now. All opinions are welcome, so please do so if you feel like. Also, everything I showed you in this video will be linked in the description box for you to look at on your own if you don't want to hear us pausing the video or our opinions or whatever. Please watch it on your own. I recommend it. And I will link the entire 2 hour something fucking minute thing. So you can watch that on your own. Yeah, all right. With all that said, please give this video a thumbs down.
Say you wanna get in.